be a very, very long video. But this is going to be an overall tour of all the computers in my house that I mainly use. So what's up, everybody? This is Tyler7200, this Big News, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that this is going to be a very, very long video. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of video here, and this video was actually requested by Technology's Edge. He wanted me to go ahead and record all my computers in my house. I was hesitative to do it because of how long the video might take, but I fully charged my main camera's batteries, put a new DV tape in here, so that's going to be a very long video. I will try to edit out most parts if I feel like it, but if you're in the mood for watching a rant, go ahead, you will like this. We're going to start off with my main PC here in my room. This is a 2002 Dell Precision 670, fully upgraded with a Mystic motherboard upgrade. I can't remember what the motherboard model is, but it is the non-stock upgradable motherboard. These Precision motherboards were actually upgradable if you didn't know, but they were only upgradable to identical and similar models of the system. The motherboard I have in here is identical to the original motherboard except for two factors. It uses LGA, I believe, 117 slots, basically saying that this machine can handle up to Core 2 Quad architecture Xeons hyper-threaded. So this machine currently has two quad-core Xeons hyper-threaded. They were originally overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz, but I started having a lot, and I mean a lot, of overheating issues, so I clocked them down to 3.8, which is still much higher than what these Xeons are recommended for. I believe the Xeons are meant to be clocked at 2.4, but I'm not having any overheating problems, so that's a good thing. This machine has a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 980 Ti, which I know is insane. This machine is very upgraded, and it originally had 16 gigabytes of RAM, but I bought the RAM off of a third-party Dell manufacturer, and they were supposedly marked as bad and defective. They worked fine for a year or two, and then I realized that I was having memory corruption issues, and then eventually the RAM was corrupting itself where it was only showing 4 gigabytes of RAM out of the 4 gig sticks. So I knew something was very wrong, so I removed the RAM and I inserted 4 gigs. So this machine is currently not upgraded that much anymore, but it does have 4 gigabytes of RAM, which for the OS that it's running, as you can kind of tell by the taskbar, it is running Windows Vista Ultimate 64-bit Service Pack 2, which I know a lot of people are going to give me a lot of shit for that. It is not a bad operating system as long as you have the service packs. Trust me, it runs everything I needed to do perfectly, and I'm not criticizing from that. But it's a very good machine. For my first monitor, I've got this Dell I think it's either a 25-inch monitor, and over on the side I've got an Emerson TV, which is running off of the HDMI. But as you can see, these monitors do put out a good amount of resolution at 1920 by 1080. As you can kind of tell by the setup here, it is dual monitor. It runs pretty good. And for the keyboard, I've got a Bluefinger JP Gamer Edition keyboard, RGB. And I've got a Xideos, what is it? It's called a T80 Big Mac. Very cheap mouse and keyboard, but they work beautifully. And the RGB, as you can kind of tell, they do change colors. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. And for the sound system, I have a Creative Labs 2.1 surround sound, which I have rigged up right now onto 4 speakers for the satellites, and a 1 big 8-inch subwoofer. And I've got a record player here if I want to play records. Oh, I can't miss this, but first I gotta let my cat in. She wants to come in. What you doing? I'm sorry, it is kind of messy in my room, so do excuse it. Anyhow, right here is a Macintosh Classic. This is just a very basic machine. It does work, it's fully workable, but I mainly just use it as a door stop for this door, being that I have a door closer on it. So, yeah. Let's move out of here. Moving on into the guest room, the bed is a little bit messy, like I said, but in here, I've got a Dell Optiplex GX260, GX 620, my bad. This machine is currently upgraded, maxed out, with a LGA 117 Pentium 4 hyper-threaded, clocked at 3 GHz. The original Pentium 4 was clocked at 3.6, but this machine, when I got it, was severely stripped down, as it looked like it was being used for parts. So basically, I got it without a power supply, without a hard drive, without a DVD drive. I got it without a lot of things, so I basically just built a new computer, and I set it up here in the guest room with a Dell, I don't even know what this is, I believe it's an Ultra Sharp monitor. It's a Genesis model Ultra Sharp. It is a 1905 FP. These Ultra Sharp monitors are amazing monitors. They might be old, but they are very, very good. And I've got the generic Dell keyboard and a Hewlett-Packard. I don't even know what the heck this thing is, but it's a really good mouse for being a Hewlett-Packard piece of crap third-party mouse. And as you can see, the machine is running Windows 7 Ultimate, and it is on a domain network, which I will show you the domain server in the house, but first I want to get over the domain network. This machine runs very nicely for what I need it to do, but sometimes the fan in here does get a little bit loud, but there's nothing you can do. And that's a part of a TV network that I will show you maybe in this video. I might show it in another video. But yeah, this is basically this computer. Moving on to the living room. Like I said, it's a little bit messy. We're having relatives coming over soon, so I'm going to have to clean up. But right here, I've got a Dell Inspiron E1705. This is one of my favorite laptops that I own. I actually rebuilt this machine because it had a bad DVD drive and hard drive when I got it. And you might be wondering, well, is it low on battery? Well, whoever owned this machine was obviously nothing less of a dumbass scientist, because whoever owned this machine before fried out the original charging circuit. So if you have a charger in here, and as long as you have a battery that's charged and the charger's plugged in, the machine will maintain its state of power, but it will not charge itself, and it will not turn on with a bad battery if the battery's dead. So I have an external charger for this machine, but right now, as you can see, it's kind of dead because we had a power outage the other day. It is working fine, but like I said, it is kind of dead. As you can see, it is also on the domain network, so I'll go ahead and unlock it here for you. And my grandma is currently logged into it using on her account. And like I said, this machine works fine. Like I said, it is on the domain network, so I'm able to log into basically any account on the network. Running a bit slow today. My grandma must have a lot going on it. And this machine has the best sounding speakers ever in a laptop I've ever heard. It is a full-blown 4.1 surround sound in a laptop, and oh my god. Come on. Jesus Christ, calm down. Oh, you want to go out? Okay. Yeah, I'll let you out. Hey. Hey. I know, you want to go out. So you can go out. Go, baby. Alright. So, anyhow, you can see me. My robotics jersey. Wow. My hair is a mess. Anyhow, moving on. You like my camera? Nice camera, huh? I think I'm coming down with a cold, so do excuse me if I'm sniffling. Which is kind of surprising. I never usually get the cold. But I guess we're going to move outside to the wood shop. The reason why I want to go to the wood shop is because I currently have a machine in there that I use in a bunch of different occasions. They said it was supposed to snow tomorrow, but right now it's not too bad out. It's pretty nice. Alright, in the garage, right here is a Dimension 3000. Now, the Dimension 3000 is based off of the Dimension B110 systems, but this machine, and I know a lot of people are going to criticize me for this, but it is currently running Windows 7 Ultimate 32-bit. All the drivers currently installed. The machine is working beautifully. And you might be wondering, what do I use this machine for? Well, like I said, it is on the domain network. It's currently logged into the guest account, and I'll explain what I use the guest account for a second. I'll go ahead and log off here. But I have a scanner up there. I don't know if you see it, but I usually put the scanner down when I need it. And what happens is, I used to work in here a lot. during the summer and springtime, so I'm going to be cleaning this place up and I'm going to be working down here again. But I work a lot down here, and I build stuff, and a lot of the time, what I do is I will make blueprints, and what I'll do is I'll scan the blueprints with a scanner that usually goes right there. Like I said, it's put away, but I'll usually scan them and put them into this machine. And also, when I'm waiting for the bus in the morning, because I obviously have the garage, the car is usually here, but I can scoot by and get to the computer. But, usually when I'm waiting for the bus, and when I'm waiting for my neighbor to go outside in front of her house over there, what I do is I mainly just hop on this computer and go on Facebook, and just basically view what's going on in the world before I go to school. This machine has a Pentium 4, a non-hyper-threaded Pentium 4, clocked at 2.8 gigahertz, and, what else does it have? It has 512 megabytes of RAM, which I know a lot of you are going to be criticizing me for running Windows 7 on. But as long as you don't have any major programs that are running all the time on Windows 7, then you're pretty much good, as long as you don't have anything that's taking up background tasks. I've got a very crappy, like, jammed up, like, this keyboard's, like, jammed up and stuff, like look. The keys come and get jammed, but this is a standard compact keyboard with a generic Dell mouse. Like I said, it is on the domain network. This machine also has a wireless PCI, or I think it's a wireless PCI Extreme card from Linksys. It works just fine, and yeah. And a CD drive and a floppy drive. But this machine currently works great for what I need it for. And we're going to go back inside because it is rather nice out, but it's still a little bit chilly. And I'm not dressed to be out here, so I'm just going to go inside. I'm literally in pajamas right now. So, alright. So we're going to go move on to the basement, which is going to be a very, very long part of the video. I mean, very long. The basement is a bit messy, so do not criticize me. I'll get to this part of the house in a second. That's the last part. Alright, moving into the office here. The office is a bit messy, but we'll start off right here. This is a Dell Optiplex GX280 small form factor. You might remember these machines having the nickname of Easy Bake Oven. The reason why they call them Easy Bake Ovens is because the capacitors blow up and explode in them because they're not properly cooled. This machine is severely upgraded for its form factor. It is ridiculously upgraded. And in case you don't believe me, I'll go ahead and show you what this machine has for specs. It is quite crazy. Actually, hold on, I don't know if you can see it fully, but this machine has a rating of 3.9. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the experience index here. Alright, so the processor is a 3.9, and the reason why is because this machine has the highest processor you can get in these form factor machines. It has a Intel Pentium 4 clocked at 3.8 gigahertz. I know that is really dumb, and trust me, it is to put that high of a processor in one of these machines. But it has a standard LGA 117 Pentium 4 hyper-threaded clocked at it's either 8 or 6 gigahertz, and a 4 gigabytes of RAM, currently clocked, I believe, at 667 megahertz RAM, 4, which is the max you can have in these machines, and a maxed out GPU. The GPU is a NVIDIA GeForce GT610. And just for you to think I'm shitting you, gaming graphics is a 6.3. I'm not lying with you. This thing is maxed out, and the hard drive is pretty good too. Now, this machine is my main work computer. Mainly, I used to have a second monitor that went right there, but I don't have it anymore because I needed the monitor for another computer. But basically, when I have to do work where I have to fix people's computers remotely, this is the computer I do all my work for. Like when I build computers and I take inventory of stuff, this is the computer that I use that for. It's used for nothing else. And of course, like always, as you can see, the graphics are really nice on here. But if I go ahead and log off here, it is on a domain network. Now, I skipped this computer a little bit earlier, but this is another oldie. Now, a lot of you are going to be criticizing me on this machine, but this is a 2000, I think it's a I don't know what year this thing is, but it is a eMac G4 clocked at what is it clocked at? Let me see, actually. It should say in the DVD drive. Oh, don't go back in. I have to come back out. Come on. Should say in the DVD drawer. What does that say? 700 megahertz. Now this thing had 128 megabytes of RAM when I got it. I upgraded that to 1 gig, being that I do a lot of stuff on here. Not really that much, but I originally wanted to put OS X, what was it? OS X Leopard, and the reason why is because there is a way to false these machines into thinking that they are a 1 gigahertz G4. You can throw Leopard on them, although it is not recommended because it does not really work so good with the performance. Technology's Edge actually has the same machine, and he put Leopard on it, and I believe he has an 800 megahertz one. This is a 700 megahertz one. Like I said, I upgraded it. So this machine, as you can kind of tell, is running Mac OS 9.2, and the reason why it's running 9.2 is because I have a massive collection of vintage Mac games. I'm talking about like up to the ceiling stack of them, and I love to play them a lot. So what better computer to play them on than a Power Mac G4 processor? So basically this machine is basically used as a gaming computer for vintage Mac games that I own. And it works pretty good for that. Will not criticize. Alright, I'll get to the parts section later of what I got in here, but I'm going to go ahead and walk into the other room. Like I said, I'll get to that stuff in a second. The Multimedia Lab. Now, the Multimedia Lab is a mess, as you can kind of tell. I have to clean it, so do excuse me. But down in the Multimedia Lab, I've got 3 machines here, which currently, hold on, excuse me here. I'm going to put the camera down and pause the video, so just give me a second. Sorry about that. My monitor was disconnected. So, I've got 3 machines here. These 3 machines are all the same. They are all Pentium, or they're all Ultiplex GX270s, desktop form factor machines. They all have 512 megabytes of RAM, a hyper-threaded 2.8 gigahertz Pentium 4 Northwood, or actually, I don't think it's a Northwood. I don't know exactly what chipset it is, but it's definitely not a Northwood. I know that as a fact. But the only difference between the 3 of them is that this one has a DVD drive, because the original CD drive that was in here, I actually broke. I karate chopped it because it wouldn't come out all the way. But I just said, screw it, I'll replace it. And this machine has a rather shitty hard drive. These machines are all running Windows 7 Ultimate 32-bit, and they are on the domain network, as you can kind of tell from the Control-Delete logo. And they work rather good for what I need them to do. The only thing that's really bad with these machines is the graphics. And that's because they're legacy hardware style Intel GMA. I don't even know if they're GMA, they're that terrible. They're like worse than the GMA you'd normally find in most computers. But you know, at the time, Dell was obsessed with Intel GMA. I don't know why they were, but for whatever reason, at that time period, they were just super obsessed with them. And I think they still are nowadays. I think they're using Intel Iris 3000 graphics in their newer machines, which I still don't like. And below the desk, I've got a Hewlett-Packard, what is this thing? It's a Hewlett-Packard DeskJet 940C. I have 3 of these. One of them is actually a little bit different. But I actually have a stack of ink for these things that I found at the high school. And this is the Multimedia Lab printer. This is mainly used to print color photos here down in the Multimedia Lab. I forgot 2 ink cartridges here that I replaced, but it does what I needed to do just fine. Moving on over here, this is basically just a little setup. If you want to put your laptops down, you can. I don't really use it for anything. And right here is the laptop thing. These 3 laptops are dedicated to the Multimedia Lab, which is this room right here, and nothing else. As you can see right here, that is I'll pull these machines out for you. We'll start off, I thought I smelled something, sorry. We'll start off with this one. This one is a Toshiba Tecra M1. This was once my old school laptop. It is currently running Windows 7 Ultimate 32-bit. Well, it was. It doesn't have a hard drive or a battery in it at the moment, and it's kind of dissected. But it works fine. I just don't have a proper charger for it, so that's why I normally don't use it. The next one is a Dell, well, what the frick, the DVD drive was on. The next one is a Dell Inspiron 22000. Let me zoom out here, that's too far of a zoom. And as you can see, okay, it's not on, so let me go ahead and restart it. This machine has a Intel Celeron M clocked at 1.4 gigahertz and is and I believe the RAM is at 512 megs, and I believe that's it. This machine's pretty good for its age. As you can see, it is running Windows 7 Ultimate 32-bit, like all the machines here. A lot of people might criticize me for putting Windows 7 on here because of the poor hard drive transfer rate. Trust me, it works fine. I haven't had an issue on here. It does the job of what I needed to do just fine. So that's all I really need out of this machine. It's just something that works. And it does that just fine. This machine holds quite a bit of battery life. This is probably the best out of the two machines. This one's pretty good too, though. I have a C drive or an S drive battery for that thing. But this one's pretty cool. Pretty nice laptop. Works just fine. And while this is starting up here, just to prove to you that it is running Windows 7, you can already tell. But this machine right over here is another one. This is actually not a bad machine, but the battery isn't so great in it. The battery is actually kind of faulty, so I do have to go ahead and replace the battery in this machine sometime soon. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Okay. Oh, wait. You missed it. It just started up as soon as I closed it. Whoops. Go ahead and put this machine away. Oh, I'll plug it in later. Right here is a 2002 or a 2001. Let me unplug it. There we go. Sorry, it's kind of, oh, jeez, that's heavy. It's kind of hard to do this in one hand. This is a freaking piece of shit laptop. I used to have 3 of these, by the way. I sold 2 of them off. You might have seen this in a previous video, but this is one of the last ones that I own, and the reason why is because this one's in really bad shape. But this is a Toshiba Satellite A60 with a Northwood Pentium 4 clocked at 2.8 gigahertz. So, hyper-threaded, by the way. So this machine gets hot as hell, and it's not a mobile-style Pentium 4. It is a desktop-style Northwood chip. So it does get very, very hot. It is literally the definition of a portable space heater. And like all the other machines in the house, it is running Windows 7 Ultimate 32-bit. And it does run it pretty good, despite the machine's age. It has ATI, or it's got the, oh, by the way, this laptop has Intel Rage, and I forgot what this one has. It has some sort of toaster graphics. Can't remember what it's called. But I know that the graphics company was bought out by Motorola, and they're no longer in production. So the graphics on this machine is kind of a bitch, but the graphics for this machine work pretty good, despite its age. It has an ATI. Oh, man, why I call now? Hold on, I gotta take that. I'll be back. So my grandma's, oh, excuse me, I kind of started off too early. Anyhow, my grandma's gonna be here soon, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video for a bit, and I'll go ahead and wrap up the video. And as you can see, this machine is running on the domain network as well. So this machine works just fine, like I said. And this machine I'll get to in a minute. Like I said, I gotta go ahead and stop the video because my grandma's coming home pretty soon. So I'll talk to you guys later. Alright guys, well I'm back. Sorry about that. But thank God for the magical power of VHS pausing. I won't have to deal with, you guys don't have to see all the stuff I've been through. So right here's another computer. This is the AlphaBox Portable. It's basically a Dell motherboard that was found in a really beaten up Dell laptop that I transferred over into a case. And it works fine. This machine has a 4-core i3 clocked at 2.53 gigahertz. I think it's a beta line i3, so it's a previous generation. Runs pretty good. It has a Dell Ultra Sharp display. This machine also has 6 gigabytes of RAM, but currently it does not have a working operating system on it because the hard drive that was originally in here failed. I don't even know why. It just stopped working one day, so I can't boot it to show you, but it used to have Windows 7 Ultimate 64-bit. Right here I've got a mechanical IBM keyboard. See? But here's something really dumb. Here on the mechanical. Are you ready for this? Go over to here. It's rubber dome. This up here and all right here is rubber dome, but this is all mechanical. I think they purposely did that. I think they purposely did that because they thought that, I guess it'd be cheaper or something. I don't know why. And a Logitech optical mouse and a Pinnacle box in case. And I used to use this machine for video editing. I don't anymore. And there's just some headphones for it. So yeah, that's that. Now, we go to the final part of the house. Here's the laundry room, by the way. Nothing really in here. If we go to the final part of the house, the network systems. This video is going to be kind of long, so right here, everything in here is very, very crucial. I'm not going to lie with you, everything in here is really crucial, so, especially this thing. We're going to start off over here. So right here, I've got my Motorola Surfboard SB60123, or 21, my bad, and a Netgear wireless router that used to be a wireless AP, but it no longer serves a purpose. Right there is my D-Link DIR 601, which is the main router. I do not use the wireless on it, but I do use the function. I do use it though because it has a bunch of features put into it that I can't use on this 1 gigahertz or the gigabit router right here. Anyhow, I don't remember what this is, but this is a Netgear router that I use as my main 5G and 2G network. And yeah, underneath it, as you can see, it's going ape shit right now because I was playing a little bit of Minecraft, and I'm also got Skype up and running upstairs and the computer upstairs. So as you can kind of tell, the computer is transferring a lot of data between the two. But this is my Cabletron System SEHI 2410 base T-Hub LANVIEW. It's basically a 24-port switch, which all the computers in the house are currently plugged into it. As you can see, that's a huge stack of wires going up to the ceiling. So, you can tell this thing has a very important use to it. I've got more computers and more cables to run with this machine, but I haven't done it yet. It does have an Intel CPU in it, so it is an official, like, basic computer switch, but the RAM modules in it, I figured out why this thing kept on shutting off and seizing up. And it turns out that there is a RAM chip in this thing that basically has to store dump memory to every time it switches stuff. Basically, it can just store information and then relay it back. And that RAM module was extremely dusty, and the terminals were not making good contact on the board. And since it was not like an actual RAM module, it was a little chip that would go into the thing. So I took the chip out, cleaned it out, cleaned the board, and I put it back together, and it works beautifully. It's actually working a lot better than it ever came close to working. But as you can see, it is going pretty crazy right now, pinging. Now, this is a machine you guys are going to want to see. This is pretty much everything in the house is controlled off of this machine. This is a Dell Optiplex 745. I had a couple of these machines, but I sold a lot of them off, but I kept this one and I turned it into a data rack. And this thing is the most important machine in the house. I'm going to tell you why. This machine serves as a DHCP server, a file server, a domain controller, what else? It also serves as a DNS server, a web server. At one point it was a web server. It's also a Minecraft host machine. It's a print server. I think that's just about it. There's nothing really else, but basically this machine controls everything. It's also a PA amplifier, or not an amplifier. Hooked up to it, I've got a Dell keyboard and mouse, but it is currently running Windows Server 2008 R2 Enterprise. And it also has 8 gigabytes of RAM, a Core 2 quad clocked at 2.80 gigahertz, and I believe that's it. I don't really have anything else in this machine besides that. I've also got a DVD-ROM, and this machine has 3 hard drives, all split into 4 partitions. Press Control-Delete. Right here's the administrative account. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down so I can type in the password. As you can tell, it's a very long password. And we are currently running, as you can see here. And Skype stopped responding. Beautiful, huh? Anyhow, as you can see, it's currently hosting a Minecraft server, as well as a domain controller, just to give you... Oh, whoa, I don't want to do that. Anyways, you can kind of see if we go... It's also a chime server, so basically it plays chimes every hour. Daylight savings time began on Sunday, March 13, 2026. The clock went forward 1 hour at this time. All the clocks in the house rely off of this server. It's also a clock server. So if the time gets messed up on this thing, it messes up all the computers in my house. So really, really important. As you can see from the look of it, there's all the hard drives installed in it, system properties. As you can kind of tell, like I said, it has 8 gigabytes of RAM, or you can't even see it. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, a Core 2 quad. So this thing is maxed out. This machine cannot go any higher than what it's maxed out at right now. So yeah. What else? And of course, I've got the home folders and I've got home folders and roaming profile folders on here for all the accounts in the house. That's pretty cool. And like I said, this machine is extremely important. Without it, you cannot run anything. You might be wondering what that subwoofer up there is for. It's not actually a subwoofer. The subwoofer is actually taken out of it, but I'm using it as an amplifier for the PA system. It has enough power to do that. So, and over here I've got a Dell Worker Printer 52, or it's an M5200. And this printer is amazing. It spews out papers like nothing. There are color toner cartridges for this thing, but they are kind of pricey. So I don't have any at the moment. But yeah. So yeah, I thought you might guys want to see that, as this machine is probably the most important machine in the house. So go ahead and lock her so nobody touches it. So that's just about it, but being that I'm going to go over the phone system in the house too. So right here, we've got the phone system. Right here is an AirAssist phone modem. I don't know the model number, but it does have a battery in it. So if the power will ever go out, we have 4 hours of phone line. Just to prove to you that there are batteries. Just a note here. Come on. See? It does have batteries, so that's a crucial important thing with the phone modem. As you can see right here is the emergency phone. The headset on it broke, so you have to use the speaker function, but it does work. Moving on into here, I'm not going to describe all the phones in the house, I'm just going to do the ones downstairs. And here we've got another one of those phones. It does work. We've also got the wireless receiver to my other phone. I got bored. Anyhow, that's the wireless receiver to one of the phones in the house. So yeah, that's the phone system. Then over here is the cable box system, which runs to all the, like almost a lot of the TVs in the house, being that I'm not going to pay extra for other cable boxes. Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe. Oh, whoa, there's one more computer I can do a video on, but I'm not gonna because it is currently in my grandma's car and I don't feel like getting it. But I'll just tell you what it is. It's my school laptop and it has 8 gigabytes of RAM, an Intel eVision E2, clocked at 1.70 gigahertz, and I believe it has Ubuntu 14.04 as well as Windows 7. What's up, everybody? This is Tyler7200 Listening News, and today I'm in the...
Just check the time.
This is really checking the time, Zach.
Check the time, buddy. Check the fucking time. Check the time. Yeah! Get away from me.